Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, Season 3, Episode 4. It's called The Grim Grotto, Part 2. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. I was panicking a little bit there in the middle that I forgot what the title of the episode was. Just a little bit.
And then you went, oh yeah, it's just the same as last one.
That doesn't really help me. If I've forgotten it, I've forgotten it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time you've forgotten a title halfway through your attempted intro.
No. Usually we retake them, but that went smoothly. I just want to let everyone know that came close to the edge, and I pulled it back from the clutches of death.
This is very professional of you.
Yes, well, you got to gloat about your professionalism. So, this is part 2 of the second book of the season. More submarine stuff. Obviously, Sunny was sick with the fungus at the end of last episode. And the first chunk of this one is mostly about trying to save her, and first of all, just getting out of the brig because Olaf puts him in the brig.
Yeah.
But luckily, Hookman, or Fernald, as we learn in this episode.
I'm going to keep calling him Hooky.
Yeah, I like Hookman. This is what it is. Also, Fiona now is Triangle Eyes, and I'm not changing.
I'm okay with that one too.
It's me calling her Triangle Eyes. But he ends up, because he obviously cares about Sunny, he lets them out, even though he knows he'll get into trouble for it. He has to distract Olaf, which leads to some fun little hijinks of making him a sandwich, which he literally puts a little submarine top onto.
Yeah,
because it's a sub. Get it? And that's cool. All that stuff's fun. It's kind of emotional when they actually do eventually cure Sunny, which is basically just they figure out horseradish is the cure from one of the books. They don't quite have that. They use a substitute, and
yeah.
That
Apparently, wasabi and horseradish, basically the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I want to argue.
I don't know enough about these things to really argue it. It doesn't sound right in my head, but I mean, sure.
I have tasted both. They're not that similar. Not really.
I can buy that two things can taste completely different, but have similar properties on a medical level.
I understand that concept. However, this here is substitute like in a kitchen. That is literally the solution here. There is no medical basis for this substitution. It's well, if I'm in a kitchen, wasabi will do.
No. Klaus and Sunny, between them, have enough science knowledge. They sussed this out. That's what happened.
I like how you're giving Klaus half the credit here.
Well, I think Sunny. I wouldn't suggest that Sunny had the science knowledge because she's been shown to be the cook. She suggested substitute in the way that a chef would, and then Klaus took that and ran with it and said, "Okay, what would have the same properties?"
Does she not say wasabi as well?
Yeah, she does. Look, I'm just making stuff up as I go along here for the point of winning this debate. That is all I'm doing. So don't even give it to me, all right?
Well, at least you're honest about it.
Now, everyone with Olaf in this, I quite like. The episode is basically him finding his laugh again. Him, hoping something just drops into his lap that'll help him kill everyone that he doesn't like, and then later it kind of does with the helmet full of fungus, and that leads to probably the big threat that we're going to, at least for the next two parts, if not maybe the finale itself, which is that he's going to try and murder all of VFD in this last safe place.
Yeah. I did really laugh when he's like, oh yeah, maybe the sugar ball will just drop from the sky into our lap, and I'm like, and then he's laughing because that's ridiculous. And then it ends with it carried away by birds, and I'm like, oh god, it's going to happen.
Didn't the carrying away by birds happen before that scene?
Did it?
I don't
think it did.
I feel like I remembered in that scene thinking to myself, oh well, it's already in the air, so it actually might.
Oh, maybe. Either way,
Yeah.
it was ironically funny.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah, because we see the Quagmire. He's holding it up, and the birds come and take it. Well-trained birds. They're taking it somewhere important, I'm sure.
Yes.
Still no hint of what's inside the sugar bowl, but
Although he does have a look.
He does have a look.
So Quigley knows.
Part of me wonders if this is going to be like Pulp Fiction, where
I was thinking that. I'm semi-surprised there wasn't just a glow when he looked into it.
I'm half expecting never to find out and just let it to be a mystery. Which is fine. That'd be funny. Like I get the joke because it's what could be in it.
Yeah, that or it'll be really much more inconsequential than we think.
It'll be an heirloom that someone cares about. That'll be it. It won't be.
Yeah, it'll just be something.
Yeah. I'll have a lot of Esme try to climb up the ladder, and Carmelita just kind of waiting. Also, I know we heard the name of the ship was Carmelita last episode. I don't think I noticed the giant lettering on the side of the ship though saying Carmelita.
Yeah, I definitely didn't.
So that amused me. Carmelita being the drill sergeant essentially for all the orphans they've kidnapped.
Yeah.
Delightful. Also forcing them to listen to her little recitals, and then just hearing them go, "Carmelita, please, we've been rowing for 5 hours. Please stop it, no more." And Esme is just standing there chilling. They're like, "No, that was Carmelita's voice, which was delightful. Shut up."
Yeah, it's like she's the best dancer in the world. You will enjoy.
Yeah, Olaf's like, "Oh, I'm going to go torture these orphans. You torture these orphans."
Yeah. Oh man, these guys are the best.
That's gold. It's nice having her. I mean, she's not like a big focal point of the episode, but every time she shows up,
she's a scene stealer. When she stumbles across them cake sniffers.
Oh yeah, when she just walks in and just because I thought they were going to do a thing where she stops right before the edge and she doesn't quite see them.
Yeah, me too.
But instead, she just takes one more step and sees them. Like, oh, look what we have here, a bunch of cake sniffers.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
And Fiona's trying to start her own thing with biscuit eaters, but it's not sticking. I appreciate the attempt, but it's not the same as cake sniffers. The big thing with her though is the twist, because we had like a kind of a cliffhanger almost with her and Hookman last episode.
Yeah.
And I didn't forget about it, but I did like halfway through the episode like, wait a minute, what happened to Fiona? Because the last time we saw her, she was with Hookman found her, and then
do you know what It carried on. Obviously, after that, we saw Hooky again. And for some reason in my brain, by the time we came to record, I just decided that they didn't he didn't actually quite find her, and it was left suspenseful.
You retconned it in your head.
I did, just because it was like, well, we didn't talk about it, so I assume that I'm misremembering.
But then we see her on the sub. The Baudelaires get back on, and she's fine. She's been a bit cagey. Something's going on. She's hiding. But then we find out the twist is that Hookman's her brother.
Yeah.
Everything's siblings is related in this, by the way. Everyone's got siblings. The Snicket's got siblings. Baudelaires are siblings. Now Hookman.
It's why Olaf's so evil, because he didn't have any.
Are you suggesting that I'm evil?
I am, yeah. I'll be honest, my siblings probably drove me to evil.
Yeah, that's maybe the most unrealistic show on the planet when it comes to how people feel about their siblings. All this looking at each other, when Fiona's like, I can't leave my brother behind, and Violet's like, I understand. She looks at Klaus like really lovingly, and I'm like, nah.
Nope, they can drown. It's fine. Saving myself.
But so that was an interesting twist, and it brought up some ideas of redemption, or at least ideas of grey areas, because the whole other thing that Hookman brings up is that not everyone's just completely good or bad. There's people are, as he puts it, they're a salad where some things are good and some things are bad.
Yeah.
And he ended up with Olaf because he was the only one who would take him after he did something awful, but for a noble reason.
Yeah, I thought this was an interesting backstory, because obviously it plays into this episode and this two-part, and it was the idea that he was really against the creation of these mushrooms, because it's like, well, no, hang on. These could be used in horrific ways. So he burnt down the lab to try and destroy them all.
Yeah, there's the idea that VFD weren't completely squeaky clean. That they were doing something bad, and he chose to change that.
Yeah, which makes the idea, him setting a fire, which inherently the show has told us, no, the fire starters are evil, is actually probably a good thing overall that he did.
He did all the fires since then, not so much. But
yeah, sure, yeah, but that one specifically.
Do you know what I loved about how they shot this when he was on the boat? Is that they specifically hid his hands until there was a shot where he brought them up into frame to face palm and hold his head. And I laughed how I appreciated how they did that, because it was kind of like they didn't show it, and I was thinking, does he still have his hand? This is a flashback, and the hands came up into frame, and I thought, oh, that was neat, because they made a moment out of it. They made a little moment in the direction,
and then there they go.
And then the flaming like plank of wood or whatever it is comes flying out, which honestly, I was expecting more of a cutting thing to happen, or maybe maybe like Phil with the shark bites, maybe.
Yeah, I could have seen it. It would have played into the marine background of the family.
Yeah, but hey, as what it is what it is. So yeah, so we're making things more complex here. Quigley's off to find his siblings. The Baudelaires actually, when they get control back of the sub and they're making this choice to come back, they actually end up the nearest beach to the last safe place ends up being the beach we started the show on, which I think does a nice job of making this feel like we're rounding up to the end. It feels like, no, we're coming to the end of the cycle, as they put it.
Yeah, because obviously I think I mentioned last time, we've been talking about the water cycle, and obviously the water part is irrelevant, really. But the idea of it's a cycle, it's coming back around to the start. That makes sense. A lot of shows and stories do that.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that it's happening now instead of like at the end of episode 6. Like we're setting up for because the next one's called The Penultimate Peril, right? So that's like a big last adventure before the ending. And it makes me wonder, like, is the last episode going to be more like, some shows have this thing where most of the big action stuff happens in the second last episode, and then the final episode is more of an epilogue for the whole thing.
Yeah, I think it could be.
Yeah.
That said, it was a book, right? And I don't think, and ultimately a kid's book. I don't think you can publish an entire book at that point without it having some sort of adventure action to it.
I wonder if given that it's only one episode compared to the usual 2, I wonder if it is more simplified. Like they've maybe toned it down a bit, because
quite possibly.
Because the important part of this chapter is more that it's the conclusion rather than whatever fun stuff maybe was in the book in the first place. Yeah. Maybe it was just a short book. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe I'm reading into it too much. Page count was half as much as everyone else, but. Yeah, so no, I like the ending because they make this choice not to go with Poe, which I like. I do think it's I get the point of the choice because Kit's there, and they make the choice to go with Kit because they don't want to just keep going through the cycle, and that's kind of the first half of the show in the book series is basically they keep going with Poe to someone else, they stay there. I think my only critique of this moment is that it's felt like we actually haven't been in that specific cycle for at least 6 episodes now.
Yeah, because not
since the last
village. Time Poe shipped them off.
Because the village was the last time he took them somewhere, and that's where they were supposed to stay.
Yeah, and then after that, you had them run away to the hospital.
Yeah, hospital, then the circus.
The lumber mill as well, right?
Oh, that was season 1.
Was that season 1?
Yeah, that was done in season 1.
Just remembering that one. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm with you now.
So, which it's not a big critique, but it's just kind of like they're talking about breaking the cycle, and I'm like, well, technically, we've not really been in that particular cycle. What Poe represents, we've not really been in that cycle. He's been more of an additional kind of just like comic relief character for the last little while, which has been fine. Yeah. Like, it's not a complaint. But if I was going to critique it, I'd say that the choice made sense to me to a point, but that what he represented felt like it already ended halfway through season 2.
I assume it's more we can rather than break the cycle. It's we can return to that cycle, the relative safety of the formula, right?
Sure, yeah.
Versus the risk of the unknown.
Yeah, but I think the critique still stands a little bit though, in the sense that we already have kind of broke the formula and have for a while. Yeah.
I would say it's the return to choose to go back to that safety, because up till now it's been circumstantial that they've been plunged into that, right? So it's them making that choice for the first time, where they've got an option to go with Poe. Yeah,
well, we said at the end of the episode 2 that it feels like they're being more proactive because they have someone to save. They have orphans to save. Now they might have all the adults to save as well because of the fungus. Because Olaf's got his hands on a bioweapon, which I did not see. I did not see Olaf getting a bioweapon as part of the end game of this show, but he's got a bioweapon.
He does, definitely does.
So here we are. We had giant sea creatures, bioweapons.
I laughed at I think it was we call it the great. Or the last one I think was the Great Unknown.
Great Unknown. We were corrected in the comments, to be fair, but it was just vague memory. The other one we got corrected on was I mean, I was only just vaguely remembering it, what the actual line was, but it was Carmelita jumping up and down. It was cackle, cackle, cake sniffers when she was jumping up and down. I think I said
Oh, what
cuckoo.
did you say it was?
I think I said cuckoo. I remembered a kiss sound.
Okay, cackle makes more sense for the laughing.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
What do you want from me? Actually, I have one Carmelita line to note this episode. Well, I say a line. It's just it was a song. She's saying the letters of her name and what each letter stands for, and she gets to M, and she just says M is for glorious.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
Because I think up until that point the letters had stood for what she was saying, and then she gets to M and she just throws it out the window, and every single letter stands for something different.
Yeah.
And it just really made me laugh.
Well, it's good, yeah.
So,
but I think it was with the other orphans was the thing I liked with the Great Unknown, where they were discussing, what it represents. And one of them was like, "Oh, I think I heard it represents death." I'm like, "You're orphans in a story, like what?"
Yeah, I feel that was a meta moment. Also, just another little touch I liked when Carmelita was given the orders. She had a megaphone, and that was just.
Oh, she did.
That was just gold. And then I love it when they all run because Violet makes the noise to make them think they're under attack to create chaos so they can escape. I love that Esme wants to stop them but doesn't want to touch any of them because they're too dirty.
Yeah.
So they all get away.
Yeah, it was good.
So we end with the kids or with Kit, and she finally tells them her name. It was where we end. We also end with Hookman and Fiona in the brig. Although Hookman is getting creative, he's using these hooks to pick the lock. Luckily, it's a big lock because most locks would not fit those hooks.
No, this is comically oversized just for this very purpose.
Yes, I mean, the only thing I could think of with locks as big as this is like really old buildings that have giant doors. I'm thinking
it's a very old submarine.
Yeah, like I'm thinking like centuries old buildings who have giant keys.
Sure.
Most modern doors not so much, unless you're doing it on purpose because you're eccentric.
Yeah.
I want a giant keyhole. It's my fortress of solitude.
Yes,
I'm going to have a giant key.
Might as well.
Yes, but obviously I still need to pick it up. So instead of it being millions of tons like Superman's, it'll be just big enough and heavy enough that a kid can't pick it up. So I can't leave it outside because the adults will still rob me. But
it's the thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts, yes. I have to have a backpack all times to carry my key.
Yeah. Worth it.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that was pretty much the episode. It was a short episode, actually. I mean, if it feels like we're wrapping up a bit quicker here. But not actually that much. But it was only about 36 minutes, this one. It was a shorter dose.
It was, yeah.
Which is fine. I don't want them to artificially extend anything.
I didn't check the runtime. I just kind of I watched it, and then you mentioned you were like, oh, only 35 minutes this time, and I went, I thought it went in quick.
I never really checked the runtime. I think the bar on Netflix just always comes up at the start. I just always see it, in the first few seconds before it disappears.
I'm not necessarily looking at the screen for the first couple of seconds. I click play and then I click play and then I sit down, so get myself comfy while because I know the show doesn't have things before the intro song.
Yeah, oh true. No. You have to honor the Netflix gods and pay attention for the knock knock. The knock knock section on the Netflix one. No, I can't play. I probably do the same thing where I probably get comfortable, but it's as soon as I click play that it comes up though. So I see that for a second and then start moving around or whatever.
Yeah, sometimes I click play when I'm not even facing the direction of the screen.
This is. I'm imagining you like having a complicated and intricate set of obstacles to get to the couch in front of the TV, and you go through a little obstacle course to get to the couch after you press play. You've got you've got 30 seconds to get there.
It's more so that the remote is somewhere. I pick it up, I press play, and I'm like, well, I've got a few seconds, so I'll go grab a drink and then sit down. But I'll press play as I'm going out of the room.
Okay. No, I open Netflix when I'm doing that because Netflix takes a few seconds to.
Yeah.
Get to
it depends what I'm watching. Obviously, with this, where I know It definitely. I don't usually do it on the first episode of a two-part because I want to hear the song. But on the second one, where it's like, well, I've seen this song, I know it's the introduction at the start. I'll take a few seconds to, go get ready.
All right.
Yeah. It's just a system.
Well, with that said, we can wrap this up. This has been episode 4, season 3. We got 3 left. So we'll be back with episode 5 the day after tomorrow, so look forward to that. Tell us what you thought of this one in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel and everything we do here, you can head over to patreon.com/mailedfuzztv, and you can do that over there for as little as $1 per month. But otherwise, that is us, so thank you once again for watching and listening. We always appreciate it. Have you got any vanilla?